The rise of Il Duce, from socialism to fascism. Benito Mussolini, a former socialist journalist, rose to prominence after World War I. Italy faced economic turmoil and political instability. Mussolini exploited fears of communism, promising order and national glory. In 1919, he founded the Fascist Party, attracting disaffected war veterans. The fascists used violence and intimidation, creating fear and chaos. The March on Rome in 1922 pressured King Victor Emmanuel III to appoint Mussolini as prime minister. Mussolini began transforming Italy into a totalitarian state, leading to 2 decades of fascist rule. Forging the fascist state, a totalitarian grip. Once in power, Mussolini moved swiftly to consolidate his authority and establish a totalitarian state. He suppressed all opposition parties, outlawed strikes and independent trade unions, and curtailed freedom of speech and the press. The fascists believed in the absolute supremacy of the state, with all aspects of life subservient to its will. Mussolini established the OVRA, a secret police force, to monitor and eliminate any potential threats to his regime. The OVRA used a combination of intimidation, imprisonment, and violence to suppress dissent and maintain a climate of fear. The fascist government implemented strict censorship laws, controlling all forms of media and culture. Newspapers and radio were used as propaganda tools to glorify Mussolini and promote the fascist ideology. Education was also brought under state control, indoctrinating children with fascist principles and fostering a cult of personality around Il Duce. Through these measures, Mussolini systematically dismantled democratic institutions and transformed Italy into a one-party state, effectively silencing any opposition and solidifying his grip on power. The media machine, propaganda and control. Mussolini exercised tight control over newspapers, radio, and cinema. Shaping public opinion was crucial for maintaining his regime's grip on power. The Ministry of Popular Culture dictated media content. Newspapers praised Mussolini and demonized opponents. Journalists faced censorship or worse for deviating. Radio became a powerful tool for propaganda. The regime invested in radio to reach remote villages. Broadcasts glorified Mussolini and instilled national unity. Cinema served the regime's propaganda machine. Historical films linked Mussolini to Italy's imperial past. Newsreels projected an image of progress and prosperity. Mussolini's control of information ensured his narrative dominated Italy. Silencing, dissent, repression, and the secret police. The OVRA, Mussolini's secret police, played a sinister role in silencing dissent and maintaining the regime's grip on power. Tasked with identifying and eliminating any potential threats to fascism, the OVRA employed a vast network of informants and spies to monitor the activities of ordinary citizens. Suspects were often arrested without warrants, subjected to brutal interrogations, and imprisoned without trial. The OVRA's methods instilled fear and paranoia throughout Italian society, discouraging any form of opposition to the regime. Anti-fascists, political dissidents, and anyone suspected of disloyalty faced persecution and violence. Exile, imprisonment, and even assassination became common fates for those who dared to challenge Mussolini's authority. The OVRA's reign of terror effectively silenced dissent, creating an atmosphere of fear and submission that permeated all aspects of Italian life. Section 5. Cult of Personality Mussolini, the all-powerful leader. Central to Mussolini's control was the cultivation of a cult of personality. He was portrayed as a larger-than-life figure, a charismatic leader destined to restore Italy to its former glory. Propaganda posters and sculptures depicted him as a strong, determined leader, often in military uniform. Mussolini's image was omnipresent, adorning public buildings, schools, and even postage stamps. His pronouncements were treated as gospel, his speeches broadcast live on radio and reprinted in newspapers. The regime orchestrated mass rallies and public appearances designed to showcase Mussolini's charisma and connect with the masses. Children were indoctrinated from a young age to revere Il Duce. They joined fascist youth organizations, wore uniforms, and participated in military drills, all designed to instill loyalty and obedience. This cult of personality, carefully crafted and relentlessly promoted, created an atmosphere of awe and adulation, solidifying Mussolini's hold on power and suppressing any potential challenges to his authority. Section 6. Economic control and autarky. The corporate state. Mussolini's economic policies were a blend of corporatism and autarky. aimed at achieving national self-sufficiency and strengthening the state's control over the economy. He believed that the interests of capital and labor should be subordinated to the needs of the state. To implement this vision, Mussolini established a system of corporations, essentially state-controlled entities representing various sectors of the economy. These corporations were responsible for regulating production, setting prices, and resolving labor disputes, effectively eliminating free market competition and independent trade unions. Autarky, the pursuit of economic self-sufficiency, became a central pillar of fascist economic policy. Mussolini sought to reduce Italy's dependence on foreign imports, particularly in strategic areas such as raw materials and industrial goods. This policy led to increased investment in domestic industries, but it also resulted in inefficiencies, shortages, and a decline in the overall standard of living for many Italians. Section 7. Social engineering family, youth, and the role of women. Mussolini's regime sought to engineer a new society based on traditional values. The family was the bedrock, with women as wives and mothers, raising large families. Policies encouraged marriage and higher birth rates with financial incentives. Women were homemakers, discouraged from careers and higher education. Youth indoctrination was key, with organizations for boys and girls. Boys joined the Balilla and Avanguardisti for military and ideological training. Girls joined the Piccole Italiane and Giovanni Italiani, learning domestic skills. Mussolini aimed to control every aspect of life, shaping a totalitarian society. Section 8. The legacy of Il Duce, a mixed bag. Mussolini's legacy remains complex and contested. On the one hand, he is credited with restoring order to a chaotic post-war Italy, modernizing infrastructure, and promoting national pride. He drained the Pontine marshes, a breeding ground for malaria, and oversaw the construction of roads, railways, and public works projects. His regime also made some strides in social welfare, introducing pensions and unemployment insurance. However, these achievements came at a high price. Mussolini's totalitarian rule suppressed individual liberties, crushed political opposition, and led Italy into a disastrous war alongside Nazi Germany. His economic policies, while initially showing some promise, ultimately proved unsustainable, leaving Italy ill-prepared for the challenges of World War II. The legacy of Mussolini's rule serves as a cautionary tale about the dangers of unchecked power, the allure of charismatic authoritarianism, and the importance of safeguarding democratic institutions. Section 9. Conclusion: a cautionary tale of power. Mussolini's reign in Italy stands as a stark reminder of the dangers of unchecked power and the seductive allure of totalitarian ideologies. His rise to power, fueled by economic turmoil, political instability, and a yearning for national glory, illustrates the vulnerability of democracies to charismatic demagogues who exploit fear and promise simple solutions to complex problems. The systematic dismantling of democratic institutions, the suppression of dissent, and the relentless propaganda machine that characterized Mussolini's rule serve as a chilling reminder of the fragility of freedom and the importance of vigilance in safeguarding democratic values. While Mussolini's legacy remains a subject of debate, his reign ultimately serves as a cautionary tale about the perils of authoritarianism and the enduring importance of individual liberty, freedom of expression, and the rule of law.